How many have heard, I'm sure everybody's heard of stem cells. Do you know what stem cells are and what they do?
Well, yes, but no.
But, okay. All right, so stem cells, make sure I get it. Here we go. So stem cells are our body's natural repair system. If we didn't have stem cells, we would not live very long. It's how our bodies renew and repair, rejuvenation, and actually slow down the aging process. So stem cells are made and held in our bone marrow. They are undifferentiated cells that, when released, can turn into any cell in our body. Heart cells, stomach, brain cell, liver cell, any type of cell that they can turn into. And so just a little bit of the discoveries in the mid-1800s. Scientists discovered that there were certain types of cells that made other cells. In the early 1900s, they thought that stem cells were the only thing they made was blood cells, and that's what we believed for a long time. And then if you're old enough, you might remember in the 80s there was all the controversy over embryonic stem cells. That's no more. In the 1990s, they started doing some research on adult stem cells, which are the ones held in our bone marrow. In 2005, Stem Cell Nutrition, the company that I represent, came out first with the first nutritional product that releases your own stem cells. And then it was about 2015 that stem cell therapy, which is what we hear a lot about now in the news with stem cell injections, came into play. So how do stem cells work? So they're held in our bone marrow, and when tissues need repair, whether it's just like your skin, your skin cells die off and get flaky, well, your stem cells help your skin rejuvenate. So whether it's your skin or your heart, whether there's been an injury or an illness, those tissues send a signal to the bone marrow to release stem cells. And then the stem cells are released from a bone marrow, they circulate, they go to those tissues that are in need of repair, and then they actually convert into that type of cell based on the need, and then multiply and help the tissue or organ heal. So if we already have this process in our cells, in our bodies, that works day in and day out, whether you're young or old, whether you're healthy or not healthy, whether you're injured or not, is there a problem? And yeah, there is. And I think this is the most important slide of this whole presentation. It shows the amount of stem cells you have in your body as you get older. So, and the amount of stem cells has been related to the ability to heal, the ability to stay well, and just our overall health. So it's a direct relationship. The more you have, the healthier you're going to be. And so you can see when you're a newborn, when you're a baby in your mom's belly, you're growing very quickly. And we started with stem cells. We started with a couple stem cells. You're growing very quickly. When you're a newborn, you've got over, many billions of stem cells in your body. In your preteens, that's about 25% of the first year of your life. So it starts dropping off very dramatically. And then by the time you're my age, you've got about 5% of when you did in the preteen age, if you aren't doing something to activate them. So that's why we're more prone to what we call age-related diseases. That's why we don't heal as fast. Think of when you're a kid, you injure yourself, you get sick, you heal pretty quickly. Then as you get older, that whole process slows down. Look at where we are in our 30s when you first start to notice aging. That's why we don't have as many stem cells as we did when we were younger. So how do we get more stem cells so we can keep that renewal, that rejuvenation, and potentially slow down the process? Well, I divided it into three primary ways. There's stem cell therapy, There's what I call non-invasive methods, and then there's nutrition. So stem cell therapy is what we're hearing about in the news now. It's getting injections of stem cells, and they can either be your own stem cells, where they extract stem cells from your body, multiply them in the lab, and then re-inject them. That process hasn't been approved in the US, so when you hear people going to South America or Mexico or Asia for them, that's the type that they're probably, type of stem cells that they're probably getting. And then there's other people's stem cells. The most common is from the umbilical cord, amniotic fluid. And then I've heard of a couple clinics that are actually buying stem cells from medical students. So they're going through the process too.
Wow.
I know. And so these procedures are legal. They're approved in the U.S. because it's considered a transfusion, not not a different process. So those are they've been going on for a few years. They're effective. They are not a one and done procedure. Oftentimes, people will have to go back for a series for the initial reason, and then repeated. Tony Robbins has a book out, and one of the chapters is about stem cells. He had an injured shoulder. He was not interested in having surgery, so he looked into stem cells. It took 3 injections for him to get the shoulder healed, and now he goes in every 6 months.
Wow.
And gets new injections. And these things, they're thousands of dollars. One lady I knew she had arthritis in her hands, and it was going to cost $3,000 every 4 months for stem cell injections. So it's costly. And then non-invasive methods, there's a lot of things we can do in our lifestyle to enhance the stem cells that are being released. Exercise, especially high intensity exercise on a power plate, the vibration plate enhances your stem cell release. And then weightlifting. And weightlifting is an easy analogy because when you're lifting weights, you're tearing the muscle, it's been damaged, it calls for more stem cells. So you'll get more stem cell release from there. Prolonged fasting, and by prolonged, really? I'm not going to be done. Prolonged fasting, at least 24 hours, probably more like 36 to 48. You definitely have to be in ketosis and get to the autophagy stage, and then you'll start producing more stem cells. Hyperbaric oxygen increases your stem cell release. As does PEMF, pulse electromagnetic, like the Beamer mats, that does. And then protecting yourself from electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields disturb our body and they inhibit the release of stem cells, and they also inhibit the effectiveness of them doing their work. So whatever we can do to protect ourselves from electromagnetic fields is important. And then nutrition, oxidative stress and inflammation inhibit stem cell release and the function of stem cells. So whatever you can do to increase the antioxidants in your body, berries, cruciferous vegetables, green leafy vegetables, for anti-inflammatory, ginger, turmeric, garlic, are good. Omega-3 rich foods. And I just learned walnuts, if I remember right, an ounce of walnuts has 2.5 milligrams of omega-3. And it's it's not an animal-based omega-3, so it's good for you. And so what does that look like? The Mediterranean diet, right?
Yeah.
And then stem cell nutrition, which is what I work with. It's the nutritional supplements that are focused. Scientific research has been done to show that they release much more stem cells than any of these other foods that I've talked about. We have 3 products that help the circulation and migration of stem cells. So I'll just go back to that one chart, kind of show it real quickly. So there's injury or damage, or the tissues are calling for release of the stem cells. They're released, our stem cell release product enhances that to at least 50% more. If you take more of it, you'll get more stem cells. So you can significantly increase the amount of stem cells being released. As they circulate, our stem flow product helps open up your circulatory system down to the capillaries, so all nutrients as well as stem cells flow better. And then MigraStem assists them in getting into the tissues where they turn into the cells needing repair. And then the stem cells do their thing. So all we do is release more stem cells. We don't heal, we don't claim to heal anything or cure anything. It's just releasing the more stem cells so your body can do it on its own. So thanks, that's my contact information. And that's the tip of the iceberg. I've been taking the products for 12 years now. I think it's had a significant difference in my health. I'm 72, I don't take any pharmaceuticals.
Wow.
And I think I have the energy and vitality that I did 20 years ago.
Wow.
So.
Nice.